Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Minister, for joining our committee once again. I was looking through both your departmental plan and org chart. Now, in the org chart, you do have reference to a war crimes program, and in the departmental plans, there are commitments towards international cooperation on criminal justice. However, when it comes to the supplementary estimates, I don't see any reference to funding for both these, and I'm just curious, with everything that's going on around the world, with Russian aggression in Ukraine, with what's happening in the Middle East and Africa, could you explain why no additional resources are being devoted to these very important programs if we're serious about standing up for Canadian values internationally?
Thank you, Mr. McGregor, for the question. And what I'd say to you is that we've definitely worked on our international cooperation. We've definitely enhanced our collaboration, specifically in the context of the Ukraine conflict. There are Department of Justice employees that have been seconded to the International Criminal Court, for example, RCMP assisting with investigations, et cetera. With respect to the actual numbers, I might defer to Bill Kroll or my deputy in terms of the numbers dedicated to the War Crimes Unit.
Maybe I'll get to him during the second round. Okay. I have a direct question for you. With respect to what's happening in the West Bank, are the illegal Israeli settlements there, does that constitute a war crime?
I think the Government of Canada's position is
That's
the same.
a yes or no question, Minister. Is it a war crime or is it not?
The status of the settlement, the West Bank is an occupied territory. The status of the settlements is that they are illegal at law. That has been Canada's position.
War crime, I mean, they're displacing the indigenous population, the Palestinians who used to live there. Is that a war crime?
So what I'm telling you, Mr. McGregor, is Canada's position. The investigation and determination of a war crime is for an international tribunal. It's not for me to speculate.
Okay, but we are signatories to the Rome Statute. You have seen recently that the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant for both the Prime Minister of Israel and his former defense minister. When asked about that directly, both the Prime Minister and your colleague, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, stated, and I'll quote, "Canada will abide by the ruling." What does that mean? What does abide by mean, Minister? You're the Minister of Justice. In plain English, what does that mean? What does that mean when Canada will abide by that ruling?
So Mr. McGregor, I'll simply restate what is Canada's position. We are a rule of law country. We are signatories to the Rome Statute. We respect our institutions and their independence, inclling international
abide by
institutions.
mean, like if the Prime Minister of Israel and his former defense minister were to set foot on Canadian soil, what would Canada do?
So, Mr. McGregor, I'm not going to speculate on future hypothetical situations.
Well, I'm not asking you to speculate. Both your colleague and the Prime Minister were quite clear in saying that we would abide by. I'm asking for a clear answer.
And I'm echoing exactly what Minister Joly and what the Prime Minister said, which is that we are a rule of law country. We're signatories to the Rome Statute. We believe in international humanitarian law and the jurisdiction and independence of the ICC.
Minister, the ICC issued an arrest warrant for both the Prime Minister and the former Defense Minister for crimes against humanity and crimes committed since the Israel-Hamas war began more than a year ago. Both the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs have said they would abide by that ruling. You acknowledge that we are a signatory to the Rome Statute. You have been wavering in clearly committing an answer towards whether these illegal Israeli settlements constitute war crimes, and you're being equally evasive in stating, as the Minister of Justice, on what Canada would do should both of these individuals set foot on Canadian soil. I think Canadians would like to have a clear answer from their Minister of Justice on this.
So I dispute that characterization, Mr. McGregor. What I'm indicating to you is that I don't answer hypotheticals. I've indicated to you the status of the West Bank and the settlements as illegal at international law. And what I've said to you is that what we've frequently said, which is that we abide by international law, we abide by international institutions, we respect their jurisdiction and their independence, and the signatories of the Rome Statute will continue to do so.
I understand that it is a contravention of international law, Minister, but again, we're talking about the West Bank, which is future land for a Palestinian state. It is acknowledged that these are Palestinian territories. These people are being forcibly removed, and after they are being prevented from returning because of the building of settlements. So again, very clearly, does that action constitute a war crime, and would Canada hold those people responsible for that kind of conduct?
Mr. McGregor, I'm trying to assist you as best I can. The determination ultimately about what constitutes a war crime is for an international tribunal to determine. That is not before me, and I'm not going to speculate about it. What I can say to you is that Canada's policy has been the annexed territory of the West Bank is an occupied territory, and the settlements themselves constitute illegal settlements. And we've articulated that many times over the past many years.
Okay, well, I'm going to push back on this. I mean, in your departmental plan, under the heading of International Cooperation on Criminal Justice, it says, and I quote, Justice Canada will continue to support Canada's criminal justice priorities internationally, ensuring that Canadian values and approaches are considered in the development of international norms and standards. And it lists on crime prevention, criminal justice, genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. If you're not even able to give a simple answer, I mean, what are Canada's values on those things? You can't even give me a clear answer on something that is very clearly happening in the West Bank at this moment. What are our values if you as the minister are unable to provide a clear answer at this committee?
5 seconds.
I, again, dispute your characterization, Mr. McGregor, and what I would say to you is that our values are that we should uphold our institutions, domestic and foreign, and that we should respect the rule of law and international humanitarian law.